Hi, I'm Sarah Hart, Director of Drive Hart. We're going to be talking about the syllabus today. We're going to be talking about the problems that can be found around the syllabus, and then we're going to look at some solutions. 4 main areas we're going to look at are goals, knowledge, delivery, and progression. Problems around goals, only training a student to pass their test. And of course, the problem with that is that when they're out on their own in the big wide world, taking complete responsibility for their driving, they're going to come across situations that they haven't been trained to deal with. And of course, as you can understand, that would be highly dangerous, not only for them, but for other road users. We're going to have a look at knowledge now, all about what's in the essential skills. We need to have in-depth knowledge of the highway code. You have to really know the subject. You have to know the ins and outs of every single subject that you're teaching. And you need to make sure that when you're doing a briefing that you cover absolutely everything. And again, the problem is that sometimes it's not covered in enough detail. It's not broken down enough. Problems around progression through the syllabus being predetermined with they're going to start with A, go through B, C, D, etc. So they're not actually being client-centred and responsive to what that client actually needs. And also what level the student is at, because we as instructors need to be really flexible. So broadly, those are the problems. Let's have a look at the solutions. Well, the first thing we talked about was only training a student to pass their test. That, of course, is very unsafe. If they get through their test on a wing and a prayer with, little or not enough knowledge, it's going to be a problem for them later on. So you need to make sure, as an instructor, that you teach them absolutely everything that you possibly can. They need to leave your care being safe and competent drivers. It's not just about the test. We then talked about knowledge and the breadth of knowledge. So you need to make sure that you're really in the head of the DVSA with the essential skills and the national standards. And dig into the highway code, particularly with the recent changes. You need to be the one that has the knowledge, and then you can pass that knowledge on to students. Delivery of the subjects, you really need to know the subject. You need to know in every single situation, if that occurred, who would have priority, how would they deal with it? And you need to make sure that you break it down for them. Because very often, it's a big subject, there's lots of ins and outs, and it might even take a couple of lessons to really dig down deep into the potential problems with the subject. So make sure they leave with the knowledge that you want them to have for that subject. And again, let's talk about the progression through the syllabus. So normally, for example, we'd do most of our forward driving before we start reversing. But you might have a student that wants to reverse with their mum or dad onto their driveway when they're out for private practice. So you might consider, as long as they've got enough clutch control, teaching them how to reverse onto a driveway or into a bay before you finish off your forward driving syllabus. So that's being responsive and client-centred. And again, just think about the level of the student, because every student, might come to you with a different level of experience and knowledge. So you'd build from what they know. Don't start them at the beginning. If they've got that knowledge, check it out and test it. But, if they've got it, then you can move through to other areas of the syllabus. So to sum up, you need to be really up close and personal with the syllabus. You need to know it back to front and inside out. You don't want to have to read it from a page. You need to know exactly what it is, what it covers, and what it all entails. And something that's a bit strange, you need to be prepared to unlearn. So as an instructor, you've no doubt been driving for many years, and you can drive without even thinking about it. But when you start to train other people to drive, you have to break every single thing down that you do without even giving it a thought. You have to be able to break that down and teach someone else to do it. So you have to understand mechanically what's happening, what they have to do with which foot, when and how. So those are things that can be quite challenging when you're starting out. And the other thing, and very importantly, we think at Drive Hart, is that if you're in a team, make sure you use the team. If you've got people with more experience around you, use them, get the knowledge from them. Okay, people will be usually very happy to help. So networking is a really good way of getting more information for yourself and therefore become a better, more knowledgeable instructor. So I hope that's helped. If you've got any questions, please message us, and thank you very much for listening.